As an English teacher with 10 years of teaching English, there have been a lot of English idioms that have terribly confused me, which will confuse you too, which we will be talking about in today's video. I have selected 5 of them that I'm going to be focusing your attention on, which we need to discuss further and in depth, in order for you not to get confused the next time that you see them or hear a native speaker use them. Are you ready? Of course you are. So let's just start focusing on these idioms. The first English idiom is to bite the bullet. To bite the bullet. Despite the fact that I know what the meaning of this English idiom is, I've used it myself like a million times, and I teach my students how to use it. I help others learn how to use this idiom, or I familiarize others with the meaning of this idiom. I still feel confused whenever I see this idiom myself on TV, or I hear someone use it. The real meaning of this idiom is to do something difficult or unpleasant. When you bite the bullet, you do something difficult or unpleasant. But whenever I want to use it, I have a feeling that it is wrong. Something is not true. Something is wrong. Something weird and strange is happening whenever I want to use this idiom, which is why to bite the bullet means to do something difficult or unpleasant. And it's a little bit weird because when you bite a bullet, you actually put a bullet in your mouth and you start biting it, right? But it doesn't make any sense. On the one hand, it does make sense because you can literally bite a bullet, but on the other hand, it doesn't make any sense because it doesn't stand to reason to bite a bullet, or it is not reasonable and logical to bite a bullet. Like, who in their right mind would ever consider doing so? Let me give you an example of bite the bullet. I didn't want to go to the dentist, but I had to bite the bullet. I didn't want to go to the dentist, but I had to bite the bullet, which means I didn't want to go to the dentist. Maybe because of the costs, maybe because of the pain involved, maybe because of the unpleasant procedure or process of doing so, but I had to bite the bullet. I had to accept the unpleasant situation and I had to do it. I had to face or confront the unpleasant situation. I had to experience it in one way or another. I had to do it. So I didn't want to go to the dentist, but I had to bite the bullet. The next strange English idiom that I myself have not been able to get along with and cope with, despite the fact that I've been teaching English for 10 years, and despite the fact that I know the meaning of this idiom and I know how to use it, is to throw someone under the bus. To throw someone under the bus. Isn't it weird? What do you think the meaning is? To throw someone under the bus. It doesn't actually mean that you put someone right in front of the bus and you ask the bus driver to run over them or to drive over them. It doesn't have that sort of meaning, despite the fact that it shows that it has that meaning, or when you look at the idiom on the face of it or on the outside, it might have that sort of meaning, but it has a completely different meaning in practice. When you throw someone under the bus, you criticize someone, you blame someone, you put the blame on someone in order to protect yourself. So when you throw someone under the bus, you actually sacrifice someone else with the purpose of protecting yourself, or you criticize and blame someone else with the purpose of protecting yourself. You try to deflect everyone's attention away from yourself and your own problems, or from the blame that is on yourself to someone else in order to protect yourself. Let me give you an example of this idiom. When the bus found out about the mistake, she threw her assistants under the bus. When the bus found out about the mistake, she threw her assistants under the bus. Which means when the bus found out about the mistake, realized that there was a mistake, or detected and recognized the mistake, then she decided to protect herself by sacrificing her assistants. She decided to protect herself by blaming or criticizing her assistants for the problem or for the mistake. So, when the bus found out about the mistake, she threw her assistants under the bus. In this sentence, it doesn't actually mean that she put her assistants or located her assistants right in front of a bus and asked the person driving the bus to run over that person put in front of it, or drive the bus over the person right in front of it. It doesn't have that sort of meaning. It actually means she sacrificed her assistants, she put her assistants under the bus, she sacrificed her assistants with the purpose of protecting herself, with the purpose of distracting everyone's attention from the problems that she caused herself or from the mistakes that she made, to someone else, maybe an innocent person who has never made those mistakes or who's not related in any way, shape, or form to those mistakes that have been ascribed or attributed to them. Now we get to the next English idiom that I myself, as an English teacher, despite a minimum of 10 years of teaching English, have difficulty using, not because it is difficult to be used, but because I'm not able to cope with its meaning. I'm not able to get along with the meaning of the idiom, which is to cut corners. To cut corners. What happens when you cut corners? Actually, when you cut corners, you try to do something badly, cheaply. You try to provide a very low quality of something, a service or whatever, with the purpose of saving time, money, and energy, with the purpose of saving budget. So to cut corners means to do something cheaply, badly, terribly, or to provide a very low quality of something, maybe a service or a product, with the purpose of saving time, effort, and energy. But when you look at this idiom for the very first time, at first sight, you may guess, hey, to cut corners means to take shortcuts, in a good way, with the purpose of doing something efficiently. This is the idea that I had, or the idea that I came up with the very first time that I saw this idiom, but it has the opposite meaning. It doesn't have that meaning. It exactly means the opposite. When you cut corners, you do something badly, terribly, and cheaply with the purpose of saving time, effort, energy, and budget. Let me give you an example of this idiom. The builders cut corners and now the roof is leaking. The builders cut corners and now the roof is leaking. Which means the builders built the roof cheaply, like badly and terribly, or provided a low quality service of building the roof, and as a result, the roof is leaking now. The roof has a problem. So to cut corners doesn't actually mean that you take the shortcuts, you take the easy way out, like, cleverly and smartly or intelligently with the purpose of doing something efficiently, but it exactly has the opposite meaning. It means the exact opposite, which is to do something cheaply, poorly, and terribly with the purpose of saving time, effort, and energy, with the purpose of saving budget. The next English idiom that I've always had serious difficulties using, not because I've not been able to use it grammatically, but because I've had difficulty coping with and getting along with the meaning of the idiom, is you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Once again, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Despite the fact that I have a minimum of 10 years of teaching English, and the fact that I've taught my English learners, the students, how to use this idiom myself, I still have difficulty coping with its meaning. I still have difficulty getting along with the meaning of this idiom and also how it looks. Because when I compare how this idiom looks with what it really means, it creates a really, really confusing situation, which is why I'm saying this idiom is one of the most confusing ones in English that students have difficulty using. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But what does it really mean? When we say you can't have your cake and eat it too, it means you can't enjoy or take advantage of or benefit from two benefits provided by two opposite situations. You can only choose one. You can only have one. Let's say the situation A provides you with some benefits and the situation B provides you with some other benefits and advantages. When we say you can't have your cake and eat it too, it means you can't take advantage of, you can't benefit from the advantages provided by both situations A and B at the same time. You can only have one. You can only take advantage of one or enjoy one, not the other, or not both at the same time. So you can't have your cake and eat it means you can't enjoy the advantages or benefits of two different situations, two opposite situations at the same time. You can only have one. Let me give you an example. You want freedom and full control, also job security. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You want freedom and full control and also job security. You can't have your cake and eat it too, which means on the one hand you want freedom and full control, and on the other hand you want a job security as well. Well, you can't take advantage of the benefits of the two opposite situations at the same time. You should only choose one. You can only have one, not both at the same time. So you can't have your cake and eat it too is one of the most confusing English idioms that I've had difficulty using. I've had serious difficulties getting along with, coping with, not because it's difficult to use grammatically, but because semantically, I mean, meaning-wise, it is a little bit strange and, weird to be used and creates a lot of confusion and throws you into confusion. Anyway, we get to the next English idiom, the fifth English idiom of today's video that leads to a lot of confusion or creates a lot of confusion. But I'm going to clear up this confusion because I've had difficulty using it myself as an English teacher, and I want to spare my students, my English learners, the difficulty, the hassle, the trouble of using this English idiom once and for all, root and branch, which is to pull someone's leg, to pull someone's leg. At first sight, when you say, hey, I pulled his leg, you say, you pulled his leg, you think about the physical act or practice of pulling someone's leg. But when someone says, hey, I pulled his leg, I pulled my aunt's leg, and, we had a lot of laugh, or we laughed a lot about something, it doesn't actually mean that they physically pulled someone else's leg. It actually refers to the idea that they tricked that person, or to pull someone's leg means to, joke with someone, to kid someone, to, let's say, trick someone in a playful way with the purpose of having fun, with the purpose of making them laugh, with the purpose of getting others to laugh, with the purpose of having a laugh, but you don't actually pull someone's leg. This is what this idiom means, which is why it creates a lot of confusion. It makes the situation pretty confusing, when you hear it for the first time, or when you see it somewhere maybe on TV, or written somewhere on the wall, or written somewhere on, let's say, a piece of paper in a book or whatever. It creates a pretty confusing situation, and I completely accept that, but to pull someone's leg means to trick someone in a playful way, to joke with someone. Let me give you an example of this idiom. Relax, I'm just pulling your leg. Of course you passed the exam. Relax, I'm just pulling your leg. Of course you passed the exam. Relax, I'm just pulling your leg. Of course you passed the exam. Relax, man, I'm just pulling your leg. Of course you passed the exam. Which means, don't get me wrong, don't take what I'm saying seriously. Don't take offense at what I'm saying. Don't take what I'm saying too hard, or I don't know, don't just take me seriously. Don't believe what I'm saying. Don't take me at my word. I'm just kidding you. I'm just joking with you. I'm not serious. I'm not being serious with you. Of course you passed the exam. You didn't fail it. Just relax. Don't take what I'm saying seriously. I was just saying that you didn't pass your exam or you failed your test with the purpose of joking with you, with the purpose of, tricking you in a playful way just to have fun, but you shouldn't take what I'm saying seriously. Relax. I'm just pulling your leg. That's about all, guys. By the way, there's so many of these idioms that we gotta be working on, but in today's video, I just decided to pick 5 and focus on 5 because I don't want to try your patience. I didn't want to make the video too long for you to watch. I just wanted to focus on 5, but in the next videos, we're going to be focusing on many of these idioms that throw you into confusion, that you need to learn more about, that you need to get more familiar with, to be able to use them better in the future. That's about all, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure you like this video in support of this channel, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll be back soon with another video.